Okay, so the future of Star Wars is Rey, and I think that's a bad move. I'm speaking, of course, of a scoop that came out over the weekend, and we did an emergency stream yesterday. We were supposed to do a stream where I was going to try all this breakfast food, and we were going to have mimosas, and it was all going to be happy-go-lucky, you know, slapping each other on the ass, having a good time, and all that. But we didn't do that, you know? And the reason why is because the Sean Levy Star Wars movie, Starfighter, starring Ryan Gosling, is all about Rey. The plot of the movie involves Amy Adams' character, who's a Jedi who survived Luke Skywalker's temple. That'd be the one that Ben Skywalker, all that shit that happened, you know, when he lost all of his students. So, Amy Adams' character is a Jedi that survives Luke's temple. And her son is a Force-sensitive kid. And she hires Ryan Gosling, who is not Force-sensitive whatsoever. He's just like a smuggler type dude. And she hires Goss to take the kid to Rey. Okay, so that's what it is. Now, look, you know, your mileage may vary on how you feel about that. In chat, let me know how you feel about that. But, like, I think it's fucking awful. And the thing that sucks about it is, that, you know, a couple of years ago when the Charmino bitch, you know, thing was going on, and, you know, you had Rey and Daisy Ridley herself coming out on stage at Celebration or whatever. When Levy's movie gets announced and then they go pretty crazy with Ryan Gosling, right? It's kind of wild. It almost feels like sleight of hand in a sense, because at Celebration it's all about Goss, no Daisy Ridley. And, you know, the first photos revealed are the kid and Goss, and it's all, you know, we're selling this off of Goss. But I had told you almost immediately when the rumors and stuff were coming out about this film that this movie was really going to connect to Rey, and that it was going to have Rey in it. It takes place like 5 to 7 years after Rise of Skywalker, and essentially Rey would be involved. And the thing is, as the movie was promoting itself, because remember, the thing first, it happens, the rumors are coming out, and we're all like, oh my God, it's another one of these Rey things. But then I was kind of shocked and pleasantly surprised that the promotion for the film was all about Ryan Gosling and this kid. And I was like, oh my God, bro, like, hey, this is cool. Like, injected some male energy here, you know, you got this A-list, you know, actor in Goss. You got this young kid who's going to be a Force-sensitive character. Like, this kind of feels cool. Like, we're cooking, and no Rey to be seen. You know, like, no Rey to be seen. Oh my God, is this actually going to be something fun, something for the fans? And maybe Sean Levy's movie doesn't involve Rey. Maybe Star Wars wants to set up this time period, and then they'll do the Charmino Bitchinoy movie, or they're going to do the Simon Kinberg stuff. And yeah, like, it's probably going to get to Rey, obviously, but maybe we don't need it here. Maybe it doesn't have to be all over this movie with Goss. Well, dude, I mean, the movie is essentially all about getting a Force-sensitive kid to Rey, which is really to establish that Rey is the new Luke Skywalker, the new Jedi Master of this post-sequel era of Star Wars. Like, that is essentially what it is. Okay, so that's what the fucking movie is, dude. And look, is it possible? Because here's the thing, and the guy asked me in chat, you know, earlier on stream today, you know, is it possible that this could work, right? Like, is it possible that this could still be good? And honestly, even my source I talked to about this said, like, I don't know, maybe there's an outside chance they changed it because this is old information, right? And this guy was asking, like, so what's the deal? Did Sean have a movie in mind? Did he have this big crazy idea? Did he have this thing he wanted to do? and it had to do with Rey. I mean, you guys tell me, but I'm gonna tell you right now, like the likelihood of that happening is next to zero. Like it's next to zero that you love Star Wars. And I'm not trying to be a dick here, but this is like the whole fucking point. Like if you can't understand what I'm saying right now in this moment, we're gonna have a really hard time discussing this whole thing. Because the whole idea here is that Rey is the character of the sequel trilogy, which is like the worst trilogy. And the sequel trilogy, it's just not, I mean, it's not good, guys. Like, I know it's been a while, right? But, like, it's goobly glop. The whole thing's fucking goobly glop. Whether you think it was Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker, it doesn't matter because they basically pissed every single person off. The whole thing just showed itself to be a complete fucking catastrophe. The planning is all over the place. Nobody knew what the fuck was going on. The movies are retconning each other. It's silly. So, like, she is that character. She is the front and center character of the worst trilogy of Star Wars, the Disney Star Wars thing, the mishandling of Star Wars, right? So, like, you cannot tell me that Sean Levy is a lifetime Star Wars fan, meaning he got into Star Wars when it was good. And years and years later, as an adult, his dream, his vision, the pitch for him to take to Kathy is this Rey movie. There's just 0% chance that that's what it is. There's no way. And if it is that way, Sean needs to come out and say that. Sean needs to be like, no, I actually am one of those guys that loved Rey. And here's why I love Rey. And here's why we want to make Rey and all that, right? But I don't think that's going to happen. And in fact, I think they're going to play hide the Rey and they're going to act like they don't know what it is. And they're going to like Trojan horse a Rey thing into a Sean Levy Star Wars movie. Is that not what it is? I feel like that's what it is. If it's not that, then just tell us the whole movie's about Rey. Why not just tell us the whole movie's about Rey? Why not just admit that the whole pitch revolves around taking this character to Rey, and that's really meaningful and important to you as a storyteller, and here's why. I doubt that's going to happen. Okay? So I have a problem with it. Now, here's the thing. Does Sean maybe have this really cool idea for a Star Wars movie? Probably. Does Sean have a really cool idea for a Star Wars movie that involves taking a young, Force-sensitive kid to some Jedi Master? Yeah, he probably does. And in fact, it was probably Luke Skywalker. Like, let's just be fucking real. If he's any kind of Star Wars fan, like a real Star Wars fan, then he probably had a version of a movie inside his head for years and years and years that involved a young shonen-like adventure where a smuggler-type character takes some kid to older Luke Skywalker because he probably read The Legacy of the Force and all the Zahn books and all that kind of shit, if he's a real fan, right? So he probably had the idea for this, and then it gets just transported into Reyland sequel trilogy Star Wars thing. And that sucks balls, dude. I'm really fucking upset about that, okay? I'm really fucking upset about that. So, yeah, so it's just really hard for me to look past that. It's hard for me to not see this for a corporate strategy rather than a story that is like beating in somebody's heart that needs to be told, right? And it's a repeating of a lot of the same mistakes that I think Lucasfilm under Kathleen Kennedy has been doing, which is mostly that they treat it as product. There's no integrity of the story. There's no vision for what they're trying to do. It's all just product. I think that is proven just kind of over and over again in how they handle it. And I think that Lucasfilm ultimately has earned this rep. So even if you don't hate the Rey character, I think it's still worth being like, wait a minute. So they took how many years away and they've had all of this time and yet they're still just focused on trying to protect the assets that they created during that time period that was so bad that they needed to take a long break from the theaters. Like, doesn't that seem idiotic? Like, isn't it kind of like stupid to do so poorly that you go to Bob Iger to ask for a break? And Bob Iger was like, wait a minute, what? These movies made $5 billion in 3 trilogy movies and Solo and shit. and Rogue One. What are we doing here? Like, what do you mean you need a big break? Oh, actually, no, I can tell we're fucking this up, Bob. I'm going to need a break to figure out what I'm going to do. Okay, here's 6 years. What's your plan? I'm going to get the Deadpool Wolverine Marvel guy to make a movie with Ryan Gosling that takes a young kid to old Rey Skywalker. That's what you came up with in 6 years? That's a terrible fucking plan, dude. Like, that's a terrible fucking plan. Not to mention, it just has zero synergy with everything else that's going on. If that were the case, where's all the content with Rey in the sequel trilogy? Like, it doesn't make any sense, guys. Where's the sequel trilogy content? After Rise of Skywalker, where's the sequel trilogy content? It doesn't exist. So it doesn't exist. And yet now, 6 years later, we're going to return to theaters with a movie that is like an in-between chapter of trilogies that's meant to reestablish Rey as like the leader of the new Jedi. It's just so crazy, dude. Like, this is wild. This is truly, to me, very, very wild. Now, the other thing that I want to say about this is, because I know that there's going to be a lot of people, so we're going to talk about this with Theory tonight, and I'm going to get super fucking toxic. Like, I'm sorry, I am. I think this is bullshit, and I'm so far past trying to be careful about talking about this on the internet, right? It's going to be super toxic. And the thing is, a lot of fans are going to be upset that it's going to get toxic, and it's going to get toxic fast, and it's going to be toxic the entire fucking time as we lead to it. That's not a great thing, right? I mean, I'm not pumped for it. I think there are some people that are pumped for it, right? There are some people that are licking their chops and really, really excited, okay? I'm not even that pumped for it, but that's what it's going to be. And I think there are many fans that are going to watch what's about to happen, that are going to see it go down, and they're going to blame people like me. They're going to blame me. They're going to blame other fans. They're going to call these other fans toxic. They're going to say that the Star Wars fandom is the issue. They're going to say that the fans are horrible. Oh my God, look what the fans did, this, that, second, and the third. And yet, I'm pretty sure that the fans have been fucking screaming at the top of their lungs that they don't like this Rey character, and they don't like the sequels, and they don't want more of this shit. And so it's just like it has always been. It's actually going to be on Lucasfilm. It's actually going to be on Kathy. And this is the whole thing that I tried to warn everybody about a year and a half ago when I started talking about this and the whole future of Star Wars being Rey. The number one reason that I brought this up as a negative, and the number one reason I said this is such a terrible idea, is because you are locking in for more terribly divisive and toxic discourse. Guaranteed. Does anybody disagree with that? Like, isn't that obvious? Wasn't it always obvious that if you really want to make 5 more movies focusing on Rey, isn't it obvious that if you really want to make the future of the franchise focusing on the main character of the most divisive thing, the most divisive Star Wars trilogy, wasn't it always obvious that you were about to have a bad fucking time? And this is the thing that I can't stand about Kathy. This is the thing that I can't stand a lot about Hollywood. I think Hollywood does this shit a lot too. It's like they want to act on the one hand, they want to act like there's this whole world of voices and output in people that are so irritable and terrible that they feel a responsibility to push back against this whole big group of terrible people by putting all this bullshit into the content. And yet they can't actually take a step back from that and acknowledge that what they are admitting is that a whole bunch of the people that are literally the customer actually don't like all this shit. And so Hollywood plays this really weird, stupid game where they think the thing is so bad that they must rail against it, and yet they can't then turn around and understand what is happening when those very same people get upset and everything gets toxic and falls apart. It's so fucking stupid. Kathy should have known. Everybody over there should know that if you're actually going to make all of the next 5 years of Star Wars content focus on the most divisive character. You gave this bitch the Skywalker name. Do you really still think that was a good idea? Like, do people still think that was chill? Like, what are we doing here? It's crazy to me, right? I just think it's so fucking crazy. It's like a double, triple down on a losing hand. And then you're going to blame the dealer, basically. Right? And so that's what it feels like, man. And that's what it feels like Kathy is getting us ready for. And I think, like, the thing look, I don't know all the considerations. I don't know how it all works over there or whatever, but I can tell you this, like, dude, I'm not wrong. Like, I'm not wrong here. Maybe the solution or how you figure this out is more complicated than I understand. I can admit that. But, like, I'm not wrong, dude. This is what they are signing up for. I really wish somebody at Disney would, like, watch this segment or maybe hear this from somebody else and just understand that, like, it's really not even as deep as, like, oh, but we're fighting for this and it's this big, this, that, segment, there. No, you're literally just going to do some shit that a whole bunch of people don't want you to do. And they're going to bitch and moan and make the whole thing miserable for the entire fan base the whole time. And then you're going to turn around and, like, just blame them. But, like, come on, man. You got to be the adult in the room. You know what I mean? So this situation sucks ass. This situation sucks ass, dude. And I kind of can't believe that they're doing this. It's funny because, like, many people called me out after this because, yes, we have technically been talking about this for years, and it was always kind of lingering, and you know, it was always like a concern. It was always there. But really and truly, the Levy movie, I was starting to get hyped. I was like, oh shit, like maybe this could be cool, that could be cool. And I knew Ray, I mean, it's literally in the sequel era time period, so I always knew there would be some Ray shit. But, dude, in my wildest dreams, did I really think the whole fucking plot would be about getting this kid to Rey? No. And that sucks. And I hate it. And I don't know that I will be able to be anything but super toxic and annoying about this. So, fuck it. Maybe that's just what we do. Maybe we just fucking roll with the punches and we just let them have the most toxic. That's what I was telling Theory. I was like, fuck it, man. Let's lean into it. Let's make this the most toxic Nerd Theory stream that we've ever done. Because if this is what they want to do, I'm going to sit here. You know what I was thinking too? I was thinking about this. I think, and I'm going to bring this up on Nerd Theory too. I think Theory and I should watch this movie, and we should get a theater, and we should try to watch it together. We should try to watch it with some Nerd Theory fans, okay? And you guys know that famous clip where at the end of the movie, all those Reylos were like, where the fuck is Ben? And they're like freaking out. Bro, we need to watch this movie. And then if it actually happens, dude, we need to create a moment like that where we lose our fucking minds in the theater. Like, I cannot fucking believe that they did this and just lose our fucking minds. And to be honest with you, I'm probably watching this whole goddamn movie now like this. Kind of just like waiting for the bullshit, you know what I mean? Oh, so hey, look, that's what they're cooking up. That's what they're cooking up, chat. Not me. Okay? I tried to be chill about this shit.